Hey everyone, my name's Walter, and you know we're in for some trouble today because Chris Chan is in my video title for the first time in years. If you're here, you probably know already, but let's give out a content warning for sexual assault and elder abuse. And just another warning that it's freaking gross. I will be calling Chris by female pronouns with the name Chris Chan, something she doesn't mind, and I don't think anyone is up for calling Chris a goddess at this exact moment. I was never going to cover Chris Chan again because I don't think the subscribers you get from it are very interested in my normal content, but I'm pretty sure everyone has to talk about this. I haven't been following Chris Chan for maybe a few years now. I find the dimensional merge stupid and boring, and mostly fabricated by people who aren't even Chris. And the begging is really irritating. Not to mention how Chris gets Barb on the camera every once in a while, and those videos are always the creepiest. I can't give a diagnosis, but Barb was always so out of it, you just had to wonder how badly it was going with Chris Chan having to take care of her. Well, it turned out it was going worse than anyone thought. Let's start with this tweet. Barbie Chan is quite alright, healthy and well, I assure you. Just to let y'all know here in general, y'all have likely noticed me referring to Barbara as Barbie Chan. During this time, unless she says otherwise, I am the only one who has been entrusted to call her Barbie. Everyone else, please, refer to her as Barbara. Don't worry, Chris, I would throw myself into traffic before I ever called someone Barbie Chan. Someone on Reddit called this out in what they thought was a shitpost. Chris does have a long history of having a weird and close relationship with her mom. She took her mom to prom, they apparently used to spoon together, and Chris has always just been kind of a walking Me Too story waiting to happen. Could never keep her hands to herself. Anyway, we now know from Chris's text messages that the romancing, so to speak, began 3 days after that tweet. This is Chris Chan we're talking about, so there was only so long that she could go without bragging about getting laid. Turned out to be less than a month. Just going ahead and sharing this with you. Fresh experience. On the Strictly Confidential, just between you and I. So yes, Barb and I just had another romp in the hay, and an extensive cuddle. Tonight I started looking into a more consistent pattern to my massaging. I'd like to note that around this time Chris made a tweet about using a massage as foreplay. Take that as you will. And I took the input and focused on getting blood flow into the groin area. Before tonight, I did not really have a set pattern in the massage, aside from feet and legs, followed by hands and arms, the face, front torso, and then a rollover for her back. I have found a more consistent method that works between the legs and arms, but I was inconsistent in the hands and feet. Anyway, here, let's just summarize, because this is really gross. Fuck you, Chris Chan. Chris is committing acts on her, she's kind of saying no and acting confused. There's talk about finding her G-spot, oral sex, all sorts of gross shit. Anyway, we're making progress, and when we cuddle, and this actually impresses me more, I literally feel our souls bonding and coming together as one during that time. Damn, it feels so good when that happens. And we talk a good while as well before she heads back upstairs. I have been sending her meditation tracks to stimulate her brain and bring back some of her youth, and the results do show, most splendidly. I am so proud of her. You know, this isn't the worst crime or criminal I've read about, or even close to it. But I guess it just kinda hits you harder when you feel like you know the people. That's your mom, Chris. Gotta hope Bob isn't looking down on this. By the way, we're going to read Bob's open letter to Chris from 1987. This hits a little differently after recent events. To Christopher Weston Chandler, from your daddy. Started December 26, 1987. The reason for this open letter to you, which will grow as time goes on, is that I know now that I, at best, haven't much time left to share myself with you. Particularly to share my things, my dreams, and my thoughts with you at a time in the future when you will be able to understand. Remember to use my things and carry on my dreams if you want to. Hopefully we will grow much older together. I will probably be rambling until I drive you to distraction, but just bear with me because I will get to the point sooner or later. I gotta feel like when he said to use his things, he probably didn't mean his wife. Okay, let's keep the jokes to a minimum here. This isn't really a funny situation. I hope I have been able to provide for you and your mother until you at least get to college, and for your mother until she joins me at the great sing-along in the sky or wherever. Anyway, I expect you to take care of her, love her, and never disappoint her for as long as she lives. I also expect you to never disappoint me because I will always be with you to help you when the going gets tough and you need me. Since everything always seems to happen for the best for me, and when I needed it, I have always felt like my mother was my guardian angel. You look exactly like my mother and I. Yeah, I know, this is pretty painful to read. That's why I'm doing it. Most people didn't think that Chris Chan would be capable of this. Well, anyway, Null, the owner of Kiwi Farms, released the call and screen caps. I'm sick of the call already, so I won't subject you to it here. All the same nauseating details from those messages, except in Chris Chan's voice. It wouldn't be long before police actually showed up at 14 Branchland Court, taking Barbara to the hospital to be examined and banning Chris Chan from the house or interacting with her mother. I guess that part should be obvious. Eventually, Chris was arrested at a motel on 1 count of incest. This is probably not the only charge they'll be going for, but we need to wait to see what the hospital finds out about Barb. It's not even confirmed that she has dementia, at least not to us. There's multiple things that can lead a 79-year-old woman to be really out of it. Before being arrested, Chris Chan would tweet out that there's drama in the air and people should avoid it. Yeah, that's not drama. That's you breaking the internet by letting everyone know that you're a literal monster. Now, the owner of Kiwi Farms, Null, has done a lot to help Chris, and he was also in contact with her through messages. So he also got some messages bragging vaguely about a new relationship. I think the hints were actually kind of obvious, but no one is ever going to assume someone's doing that. July 5th, 2021. Now I also have a major update to share with you, strictly confidential. The past week up to Sunday the 27th has been a major game changer for the positive with me. I tell you this in strictest confidence and trust. I do not want word of this on the Kiwi or going public. By the way, he didn't share this with anyone until he confirmed that Chris was talking about her mom. But I had sex with someone last week, someone of this half of our universe. I worked thoroughly and compassionately with her beforehand and at present. She's physically older than I. I heard one may say it's something out of an anime or fanfiction. But yeah, keeping her safe as well. Also, next appointment with my doctor is on the 20th, so I'll get checked then to be safe. Condoms are being used in the intercourse. Yes, Chris does just think STDs happen when people have sex. Apparently she used to get tested twice a year while still a virgin. You'd think someone would tell you were being an idiot, but whatever. Really? How'd you meet? Well, I've met her a while ago, and was not fully aware at the time. And my allied deities guided me to seek her out and make things go further with great effort. We have talked off and on during the time in person. Behind a considerable camouflage she was, but she was honest in her emotions. And she wanted to be with me as well. Mutual feelings on good rapport. This relationship has been, from the start, offline and in person, I assure you. This relationship, ugh. Do you have a picture of you and this girl, by the way? Woof, pressing hard for details. I do have photos of my lady friend, but I feel it too personal at this time. I did mention she was older than I. She's in the over 50s, and she definitely does not want to be spread around. As one of my curious followers may have found through my Amazon by now, I even recently purchased a valuable and informative book to add additional guidance. By the way, it's this book, The Ultimate Guide to Sex and Disability. As you can imagine, Chris isn't physically disabled, at least not to the point of needing a book. This purchase shows a lot of premeditation here if the messages didn't already. I have found great appreciation for her in reading her deeply and in listening to her stories and life adventures. Her high school days were quite fun for her. An intellectual she is, worked a lot in numbers and accounting. She and I have our romps in the sack every 3 nights at the present. It does give her something to look forward to. She is very grateful, and I am also appreciative in being able to enlighten her with sex play she missed out on from even her exes. You really would have to have dementia or Alzheimer's or something for Chris to be able to teach you anything about sex. I think from looking at Chris's new mugshot that it's obvious the enormity of this all hasn't set in yet. She was living this weird little life of minor internet celebrity, and now is completely disgraced beyond all repair. The kind of people who are still supporting Chris Chan are not the kind of people who'll stand behind a rapist, probably. You see, she managed to fund a trip to Washington to go to a brony convention called Everfree Northwest. This was supposed to be like the best month ever, and getting laid too probably felt like the cherry on the sundae. Somehow. I'm glad this didn't go on any longer than it had to. Don't worry, the people who gave money were refunded, and she was banned from that and probably every convention in the future. There actually isn't a whole lot more information yet. I don't want to make a bunch of Chris Chan videos, but maybe I'll update when I find more relevant details and weird things from the past that just make you sad now. Yeah, my whole point was my old videos about Chris weren't positive exactly for the time, but they look way too positive now, so I figured I'd show up with details that other YouTubers didn't cover, and let you know that Chris Chan is a monster and has been sinning against nature. And most importantly of all, she's betrayed the only person who still trusted her in the worst way possible. Makes me want to hear Cole Smithy's opinion on the matter, but we probably won't. Anyway, let me know what you think or how many times you puked or whatever. I will be marking this one for limited monetization myself. Chris Chan has always been a hard subject to monetize. But that is about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you have something to say, let me hear it. Unless you're going to bitch about the pronouns. I mean, feel free, but I'm not that interested. I will shout out my patrons next time. No one wants to be shouted out on a video like this. Or do they? Have a great night, everyone. And I also wish I had never learned about this, by the way. It's just awful.